Welcome to the Good Growing Podcast. I am Chris Enroth, horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension, coming at you from Macomb, Illinois. And it is summertime in Illinois. And I got my first social media post saying that sweet corn is ready. Homegrown Illinois sweet corn is something to behold. Now, if you're growing your own sweet corn, on today's Gardenbite, we are going to jump back when Katie and Ken were teaching me all about growing sweet corn. We're going to talk about when to harvest, and a very common question I get, how to keep the raccoons away when the corn is just ready to pick, and also what are those things eating the tips of your sweet corn. You won't want to miss this if you are a sweet corn lover. Enjoy.
So Ken, when do you know sweet corn is ready to pick? Because I imagine right now it's sizing up, and do you have to, after it's done milking, do you have to then, is there like a fruit juice stage? What's next? How do I know when it's ready?
So one way you can go out and kind of squeeze the ear, and it feels kind of full. That's a pretty good indication. The silks will start drying up. So yeah, think about the sweet corn you buy in the store. That's one way, pretty much with any vegetable. Think about what it looks like when you buy in the store, and that's usually a good indication of when you want to harvest. So that silk will start drying. The ear gets kind of full, and I'll usually, when the stuff starts getting to that stage, I'll peel back the husk and pop a few kernels and see if it's in the milk stage or not.
Okay. Now I've heard a good sweet corn, you can just eat that without having to cook, boil, whatever. It just, you shuck it, take a bite. It should be just as tender and juicy as it is if you would throw it in a microwave. Is that true? Or should I be cooking my sweet corn?
I've eaten it raw. Our kids have sometimes when they're picking it, they'll just eat a ear while we're picking. So yeah, we've all lived to tell the tale.
I know it's easier to spread melted butter on a hot ear of corn, but if it's good, it doesn't need butter, I think.
Exactly. Pre-melt your butter and just dip it in there.
One needs to invent a cob like shaped butter dipping dish. Okay, so if you've got it picked, like Ken, you had mentioned you eat it almost right away, but I have it picked. Do I need to do something? Do I need to shuck it right away? Can I keep it in my kitchen counter with it's still, fully clothed and it's corn clothing? How do I store this?
So a little bit of that's going to depend on the type of sweet corn you're growing. So there's kind of three main types: the standard, super sweet, and sugar enhanced. And those are abbreviated SU for standard, SH2 for super sweet, and SE is sugar enhanced. So your standard, that's kind of like your old time sweet corn. And that stuff starts the kind of the quality, the sweetness starts declining rapidly. So usually that stuff you pick and cook right away. You wouldn't want to store that more than a day. Otherwise you start losing a lot of that sweetness. The super sweet and the sugar enhanced, those can store a little bit longer, several days if you needed to. It's still probably best to, in general, just cook it right away or use it kind of that day, just to be safe.
Okay. Well, and then Katie, you had mentioned possibly being able to preserve corn. What are you and Matt thinking about for this year? What's going to be the way to get corn in the middle of winter?
Yeah, there's nothing better than sweet corn in winter. So we've been, we just cook the corn. We pretty much blanch it and then cut it off the cob and then put it in freezer baggies to freeze it and hopefully enjoy this winter.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty simple process. My mom, she's done that for years. Yeah.
Easy enough. And
then, at like Christmas time or somewhere, some holiday gathering, there's a stew that's made and you can tell there is fresh, frozen, but fresh, locally grown sweet corn mixed in with that. A very common story I am told is that people they'll have this beautiful block of sweet corn. They know it's getting ready. Maybe they're going to go pick it on the weekend, the next day, and they come back and raccoons have beset that block of sweet corn and they are stripped, torn to pieces and gone. Ken, you said you didn't have any maybe remedy for squirrels. They're evil animals anyway. Nature never intended them to evolve this far. But the raccoons, Katie, or deer, do you and Matt have these issues? Any solutions or ideas?
Luckily, we live in town, so we don't have a lot of issues with like the deer. Raccoons, we see one occasionally, but knock on wood, they've left our sweet corn patch away or left it alone. But a lot of times you'll see like people put electric fence, usually a couple wires around the base to keep raccoons out. With deer, you could do the same thing, but you're obviously going to have to do it up a little bit higher because the deer can step over something that raccoons wouldn't be able to. So there's a lot of times it's electric fence. Peggy Doty told us, I don't know if you guys recall, like talk radio usually keeps raccoons away. So if you don't have access to electric fence, that could be an option. Just keep a radio on talk radio throughout the night for a few nights around when you would expect your sweet corn to be ripening. That might be a tactic to keep them away as well.
I've even heard folks, they take a piece of tinfoil, smear it with peanut butter and put it on the electric fence so the electricity current still travels within that tinfoil to encourage animals to lick it. And when they lick it, yeah, they get a shock. And so it is a conditioning thing that they
so
even though they
potentially have some meat with your sweet corn.
There you go.
poor animals.
Smells, somebody fried some sweet corn and something else here too. So yeah. But that might be another possible thing if you want to I guess just condition your pest critters to stay away. Even though they want the corn, they'll go for the peanut butter first and realize don't mess with that fence. So
keep your pets away from it.
There you go. Yeah.
And your kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, kids, I got shocked so many times as a kid going underneath the cow fence. So I'm still here. Okay. So corn earworm, there's been a couple local farmers that have said, come on, folks, it's not that big a deal. Get over it. It's what is it, Ken? What is a corn earworm? What type of insect?
It is a caterpillar, not a moth.
Okay.
It's also called tomato fruitworm if it's getting into your tomatoes.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So same insect causing problems on both of those. And with corn earworm, usually you're going to find that at the tip of the ear. It's when they land their eggs on the silks, and those caterpillars will hatch and work their way into that ear corn and start feeding on the tip. And sometimes you may see like a line of kernels missing where that corn earworms travel down, and there'll be frass or poop in there. A lot of times if it's just on the tip, you can cut that out and eat it. Mm-hmm. Or if you miss it, you got a little extra protein.
Talk about meaty corn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So corn earworm, I've never seen it to be a big deal. I'll pull the thing off. Yeah. You see the frass and there's the little caterpillar there. Just chop it off and I toss it in the grass and call it good. If people wanted to spray something like that, because it's a caterpillar, would it be something like a BT spray on your silks?
Yeah, basically anything that you're going to spray for caterpillars, BT, other stuff. I think usually do that when your corn starts to silk to kind of protect that when they're out laying eggs.
Well, that was a lot of great information about when to harvest sweet corn, keeping the raccoons away, and what to do about corn earworm. Well, the Good Growing Podcast is a production of University of Illinois Extension, edited this week by me, Chris Enroth. A special thank you to our listeners. Thank you for doing what you do best, and that is listening, or if you're watching us on YouTube, watching. And as always, keep on growing.